Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Alexandra Carter.
I'm Derek Sibley.
It is Wednesday, November 8th, 2023. We've made it to hump day.
Yeah, we certainly did. We only got a couple more days left of the week.
Yeah, just got to get over the hump. Yep.
Exactly.
So what can we expect out there today?
Well, we got cloudy weather conditions right now moving through. A little bit of some light drizzles possible, but other than that, I don't think we're looking in terrible shape out there. It's just a little on the cloudy side. Those clouds kind of expected to stay with us here for at least a little while longer. Temperatures are currently into the 40s, 44 in La Crosse now, 41 in Winona, Sparta, Black River Falls, and Viroqua. We're at 44 in Prairie du Chien and in Boscobel. Temperatures are currently at 39, though, further north in the Chippewa Valley around the Eau Claire area. So as we take a look at your planner, we are going to be looking at the cloudy weather continuing throughout the day. Slight chance of a little bit of a shower or a drizzle possible. Temperatures between around 1 to 3, reaching the highs around 49 to 51 degrees. Check now on your dog walking forecast. Again, some of that drizzle could affect you, but I think for the most part, things are just remaining cloudy through the afternoon, too. A little bit of light drizzle, cloudy skies heading into the evening hours as well. All right, stay tuned. I'll have a check on your schoolcast, plus another check on your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes. We got the winds that are expected to increase starting tonight. More details on that in just a few minutes. Alexandra?
We will see you then, Derek. Thank you. Time now for our morning headlines. Democrats are celebrating victories in several states this morning after voters took to the polls in yesterday's off-year election. In Ohio, voters approved abortion rights and Democratic candidates won crucial races in Kentucky and Virginia. CBS's Naomi Ruckham breaks down the results and what it means in the lead up to the 2024 presidential election.
It was a big election night for Democrats across the country as the party scored victories in Ohio, Kentucky, and Virginia. In Ohio, voters approved a measure to amend the state constitution, establishing the right to abortion. Crowds cheered as results rolled in just 1 year after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Abortion is health care. And abortion access is the law of the land in Ohio.
In Kentucky, Democratic Governor Andy Beshear was reelected to a second term.
This wasn't my win. This was our victory. It was a victory that sends a loud, clear message. A message that candidates should run for something and not against someone.
Beshear has relished in broad approval for his handling of the pandemic and natural disasters. And in Virginia, Democrats are celebrating 2 wins at the state level, retaining their hold on the majority in the state Senate and flipping the House of Delegates. These victories come as President Biden faces daunting poll numbers with less than a year to go until the presidential election. In a social media post, the president said, "Voters vote, polls don't. Now let's go win next year."
Also in Ohio, voters passed a measure that will commercialize, regulate, and tax the adult use of marijuana, making it the 24th state to pass such a measure. The outcome now means recreational marijuana is legal in nearly half of the nation. The House passed a resolution overnight to censor Representative Rashida Tlaib. In the 234 to 188 vote, the House voted to censor the Michigan Democrat after Tlaib, the only Palestinian member of Congress, posted videos on social media that featured protesters chanting "From the river to the sea," Palestine's slogan that some view as anti-Semitic, including the Anti-Defamation League. Before the vote, Tlaib said her criticism of the Israeli government should not be viewed as anti-Semitic and that her censure would harm those who want to speak up.
But let me be clear. My criticism has always been of the Israeli government and Netanyahu's actions. It is important to separate people and governments, Mr. Chair. No government is beyond criticism. The idea that criticizing the government of Israel is anti-Semitic sets a very dangerous precedent.
Tlaib is the second Muslim American congresswoman to be censured over criticism of Israel, following Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar's censure in February. UK health officials repurpose a U.S. breast cancer drug to help prevent the disease. The hormone therapy anastrozole will soon be available to all women at increased risk in the UK. This comes after a 2019 study showed it could lower breast cancer risk in postmenopausal women by 49%. Nearly 55,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer each year in the UK. Officials hope making anastrozole more widely available could help bring down rates of the disease. The countdown to Thanksgiving is on, and right now the CDC says you're in the best window to get vaccinated to protect yourself and your family for the holidays. CBS's Michael George reports.
Getting ready for the Thanksgiving holiday may include more than shopping, prepping, and serving.
I am the parent of a toddler, so always extra aware of times of the year where sickness is abundant.
The CDC says this 2-week run-up to Turkey Day is the best time to get vaccinated for COVID, flu, and RSV.
We know we're going to see more flu starting to circulate and more COVID. So right now is a great time for you to get vaccinated. That way your body can build up its protection ahead of the holiday season.
CDC Director Dr. Mandy Cohen got her COVID shot last month and acknowledged COVID vaccine uptake in the U.S. is a little slow.
I know folks want to leave COVID in the rearview mirror, but unfortunately it is still here and is still causing folks to get very sick and even die.
The CDC says it's seeing an uptake in flu shots in line with recent years, mainly because people are used to it and have made it part of their routine.
The CDC says it expects to see flu, COVID, and RSV all circulating at the same time this season. But how severely could depend on vaccination levels.
I have already done it. As soon as they were available, I went and got them.
There are additional precautions we can all take for Thanksgiving gatherings. If you're sick, stay home, wear a mask, increase ventilation, and even consider a meal outside.
It's really about who are you, what's your personal risk, and who are you going to be around.
Food for thought and for a happy and healthy Thanksgiving.
The RSV shot is recommended for adults 60 and over. Pregnant women can get a vaccine to protect their babies, or newborns can receive preventative antibodies. The CDC is working with manufacturers to accelerate production and relieve a limited supply of that antibody shot. If you're looking for something to do to help keep you moving, you may want to start practicing Tai Chi. A new study reveals those who practice the Chinese martial art twice a week may have improved cognitive function. The study, published in Annals of Internal Medicine, tested 300 adults with an average age of 75 who said their memory was declining. The researchers then had the participants take a 10-minute test and found that after practicing Tai Chi, they had raised their test scores by 1.5 points after 6 months. Happening today, the La Crosse annual New Music Festival kicks off tonight at UWL. The 3-day event will feature 3 different concerts and other events, including a master class on piano with composer Arturo Rodriguez. The free concert will start at 7:30 tonight and will be held at UWL's Annette Recital Hall, located in the Lowe Center for the Arts. Still ahead on your morning news, finding a home for sale that fits within your budget is going to get even harder. We'll have the reason why after the break. And the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety has released new pickup truck crash test data. We'll take a look at why the IIHS is warning some passengers may not be as safe as they think. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Prepare for liftoff, space enthusiasts. Our next story is out of this world. A new space telescope is giving us a look at parts of the universe that have never been seen before. The Euclid telescope was launched by the European Space Agency in July. Its purpose is to map out distant galaxies and help scientists study dark matter. As Euclid orbits the sun about 1 million miles from Earth, it takes these pictures that scientists will use to measure the expansion of the universe. So far, the snapshots include views of galaxies billions of light years away. Many of these galaxies have never been seen before. If you'd like to check out more of Euclid's pictures for yourself, you can find them on the European Space Agency's website. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now This Morning is coming up next.
Cloudy skies continue to linger across the Coulee region this morning. A little bit of a light shower or drizzle, still not completely out of the question underneath some of those thicker clouds that move through. Temperatures now are into the upper 30s still in the Chippewa Valley. You're sitting at 39 in Eau Claire, but a little bit warmer down south in the La Crosse area, currently at 44 degrees. Let's get a check on your zone forecast today. Going to be a little bit warm here once again, but maybe not as warm as what we've seen the last couple of days. Upper 40s, low 50s this afternoon. 51 today in Berry Mills, 49 in West Salem. Highs will reach 47 today in Viroqua, 50 in Soldiers Grove, and 49 in Brownsville, 50 degrees in Stoddard today. Highs around 47 though in Arcadia and 46 in Alma Center. High of 48 in Melrose and in Sparta as well. 46 in Osseo though. Heading north into the Chippewa Valley, we're looking at highs much cooler into the 40s with a chance of a light shower or a drizzle here. So for your bus stop forecast this morning, 44 degrees, a little bit of a light shower or drizzle, otherwise cloudy skies. That's in the forecast once again as we head into this afternoon. 51 degrees here as well on the way back home from school. I'll have another check on your full weather forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Thanks, Derek. In your consumer news this morning, a bitter pill to swallow, maybe another one for potential home buyers. That's the gist of a new report that shows housing affordability at a 4-decade low. According to the Intercontinental Exchange, the share of household income going towards mortgage payments is higher than at any time since 1984. Over the last 35 years, families have spent an average of 25% of their income on housing. Now that number stands at 41%. Experts say high interest rates are to blame. Well, house sales may be dropping, but the air travel industry is booming. According to American Airlines, a record number of flyers will take to the skies this Thanksgiving. The airline says it forecasts 5.9 million passengers on American flights alone. That would be the most Thanksgiving travelers American Airlines has ever seen. The company also expects this year's travel period to be longer than ever, spreading over 11 days. This comes after United released its predictions yesterday for record travel season as well. Holiday trips are one way to improve work-life balance. Shortening the work week is another. New numbers show a large majority of Americans would prefer a 4-day work week. That's according to a Gallup poll out this week. The survey gave respondents the choice between a traditional 5-day, 40-hour work week and a 40-hour work week split into 4 days. An overwhelming 77% of respondents preferred the 4-day option. The survey also found that 74% of Americans would like employers to offer paid mental health days. Big changes may be on the way for Medicare. The Biden administration just released a proposal to improve private Medicare insurance plans for seniors. According to the head of the Health and Human Services, the changes would help seniors tailor plans to their health needs. The proposal would also expand benefits like fitness and dental plans and make it easier to access behavioral health care. If finalized, the changes would take effect sometime next year. Trucks haul in major mileage on U.S. roads. Now a new crash test looks at how they haul through accidents. Dana Backus has the results of a new study for us.
A new series of crash tests. The large pickups produced mixed results. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety looked at 4 popular brands. All of them performed well during a side impact collision. And in a head-on crash, the vehicles protected the driver. But all 4 were given a marginal or poor grade at preventing injury to riders in the back seat.
In all 4 cases, the pelvis of the rear occupant slid under the belt.
Joe Nolan and researchers at the IIHS used a dummy about the size of an adolescent. He says it can be dangerous when the pelvis slides under the belt.
In the real world, we see as a problem in rear seat occupants where abdominal injuries can be quite severe.
Researchers stress that overall, today's vehicles are very safe, but this new test looking at backseat performance is exposing some flaws.
The same crash has been studied in other vehicles, from minivans to SUVs, and also produced poor results. The IIHS wants automakers to redesign seatbelts in the back to be as safe and effective as those in the front.
The automakers have demonstrated a long record of being able to make changes once issues have been identified.
The IIHS says automakers are already looking at making those changes in future vehicles.
That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check back in with Derek now for a look at today's forecast.
All right, thanks for that, Alexandra. We got mainly cloudy skies, slight chance of a little bit of a shower or drizzle possible for that morning commute, but otherwise, here's what it currently looks like. 44 degrees underneath those thick cloudy skies. Winds are looking nice and calm, 5.24 feet on the river stage. Eau Claire also looking cloudy as well this morning. Your temperature, 39 degrees. East winds have picked up a little bit, up to about 10 miles an hour. Right now, again, very cloudy right now on that satellite and radar loop going around. You can see we had a couple of showers move through portions of the area overnight. Much of the drizzle currently remaining off towards the north. A little bit of some light drizzle possible, 44 degrees at 7. Cloudy skies, 48 degrees at noon, 49 and still cloudy at 4. A little bit of a couple of showers possible as we head into early this evening. Forecast highs today, upper 40s up towards the north, but lower 50s closer towards the La Crosse area here today. And you can see on Sky Tracker the cloudy skies, slight chance of a little bit of a light drizzle here possible will continue throughout much of the morning here, as you can see. And then by the time we reach 3 o'clock, we are still looking at much of the drizzle kind of focused up towards the north. The rest of us looking a little bit more on the drier side, but still very cloudy. I'm not expecting any sunshine whatsoever here today. A couple of light showers could make their way south into the rest of our viewing area by the time we reach around 8 o'clock this evening. And then much of the moisture will clear out as we head into overnight tonight. Those temperatures falling into the low 30s by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Underneath mainly clear skies, if not completely clear. The clouds increase, though, as we head towards the north by 1 o'clock tomorrow. A little bit of some snow showers possible up towards the Chippewa Valley as we head into the 6 o'clock hour tomorrow afternoon. While the rest of us are looking mainly dry, the clouds, however, will increase again as we head into tomorrow night. You know what else is increasing is the winds. We are expecting the northwest breeze to pick up between 10 to 15 miles an hour heading into tonight. Occasional gusts up to 20 miles an hour, so you may feel some wind chills, but I think the majority of the stronger winds will come tomorrow afternoon. We're looking at the winds picking up between 15 to 20 miles an hour, occasional gusts up to 30 miles an hour before subsiding as we head into tomorrow evening. Your forecast, 8-day forecast, that is showing highs into the low 50s through Thursday, with highs dropping into the 40s on Friday, and that trend continues into Saturday, so a little cool there. Now, as we take you into Sunday and through much of next week, our high temperatures will warm back up into the 50s under a mix of clouds and sun. Low temperatures mainly into the 30s and low 40s. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. For now, we're sending you a break with a look what happened on this day in history for November 8th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz. College hoops are finally back here in La Crosse, and for the UWL men's basketball team, the Eagles have a new leader, a new system, but expectations remain the same. The Eagles hard at work this week as they gear up for Friday night's season opener, and this year's squad being led by new head coach JT Gritzmacher. The West Allis native was hired back in June after spending the past 3 seasons at Bryan and Stratton College in Wauwatosa. Gritzmacher takes over a UWL squad that finished 19-7 last year, 10-4 in conference play. As for the new head coach, he says his motto is defense first, and that'll be the biggest focus as he tries to implement his own system with the Eagles. Gritzmacher says meshing a bunch of different personalities together always takes some time, but it's a challenge he's embracing so far. The players have responded well as we get closer to opening night.
That's kind of been our biggest thing, is just trying to figure out who we are as people, because we do have 14 guys who've been around each other for at least a year, and we got 7 guys plus coaches that haven't been around for maybe 2 months. So just try and get us all on the same page and get to know each other is probably our biggest thing we're working on right now.
I think it was kind of fluid. You know, being part of a program for so long, you kind of learn how to adjust. Just with a new coach, just as another hiccup in the road. I think JT did a great job, you know, getting everyone to buy in here, and I think it's really been a smooth process.
We'll see how that process has paid off so far. On Friday night, Eagles tip off the regular season on the road at UW Superior. Some big-time matchups on the gridiron later this week. Let's start on the Minnesota side. The Warriors kick off the state tournament quarterfinals Thursday night. Caledonia clashes with Jackson County Central. That game will take place at Mayo High School in Rochester. As for our Wisconsin high schools, the Blue Golds are just 2 wins away from their 3rd straight state title. Aquinas will take on Horicon Hustisford Friday night at Wisconsin Dells High. And in Division 7, Bangor got past rival Cashton last Friday. Cardinals are on a level 4. They'll meet up with Edgar on Friday night. That game will be played at Durand Arkansas High School. Let's hit the ice. Minnesota looking for its second straight win. Wild in New York taking on the Islanders. Vinny Lettieri sends a missile into the back of the net. That ties things up at 2. Then in the third, Kirill Kaprizov with the one-timer. He finds the twine. Wild go back in front 3-2. Then about a minute later, check this out. Wild steal it. Great pass from Pat Maroon. Joe Erickson adds some insurance. Wild go up by 2. Minnesota makes it 2 in a row. They get the win, 4-2 the final in New York. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
You're watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
Testimony from the forensic pathologist who did Mark Phillips' autopsy took center stage during day 2 of the reckless homicide trial against his wife. He told the court Phillips had injuries, including blunt force trauma on his left side, consistent with being hit by a vehicle. He said while the injuries align with Phillips being hit by a truck, he can't confirm that was the exact cause. Lori Phillips is accused of recklessly killing her husband with her truck back in 2019.
That's the caveat that it's not specific for that, but it is something that could be consistent with a crushing type of injury.
The trial will continue into its 3rd day later this morning. Residents in the Spring Grove School District have voted to approve one of the district's referendums. According to the Spring Grove Schools Facebook page, voters passed a $12 million referendum focused on facility upgrades. That includes updating the school's 95-year-old heating and ventilation systems. The second referendum question failed. If it had been approved, $4 million would have gone toward building a new career and technical education lab. The Republican-controlled Assembly passed a bill banning UW officials from considering race when awarding financial aid. Governor Tony Evers is expected to veto that measure. Lawmakers also sent the governor a bill withholding state grants from schools that repeatedly violate free speech. He's likely to veto that one, too. And the Republican-controlled Senate passed 3 new constitutional amendments on voting rules. One would ban private funding for elections. Another would put voter ID photo requirements in the state constitution. And a third would limit voting rights to U.S. citizens only. Republicans are turning to these constitutional changes to avoid a veto from the governor. The amendments still need approval in a second legislative session. Then voters would ultimately decide their fate in a statewide referendum. All Senate Democrats voted against those 3 constitutional amendments. Democratic Senator Jeff Smith believes his Voter Protection Act is a better answer to making sure Wisconsinites can exercise their right to vote. In a statement, Senator Smith says, quote, Republicans continually refuse to engage in a productive conversation on how to help voters exercise their constitutional right, end quote. He also says his Voter Protection Act includes voter-friendly proposals like universal voter registration. The state Senate, meanwhile, also approved another amendment to the state constitution. This one would block government agencies from ordering churches to shut down during a state of emergency. Republicans introduced the amendment in response to Governor Evers' 2020 stay-at-home order. The state Supreme Court struck that order down. This amendment ensures similar orders cannot be issued in the future. The amendment passed along partisan lines. 5 Wisconsin Assembly Republicans are pressuring Assembly Speaker Robin Vos to impeach Wisconsin's elections administrator. Vos says that's not going to happen. The 5 Republicans are a group who openly embrace debunked conspiracy theories about the 2020 election, but former President Donald Trump has shown support for their efforts to pressure Vos into impeaching Megan Wolfe. Vos tells the Associated Press his party is nowhere near a consensus on impeaching her and has said the party needs to move forward and stop obsessing over Wolfe. A lawsuit on Wolfe's behalf is still making its way through the court system. In that case, Republican attorneys have already admitted the Senate's vote to fire her this fall had no legal effect. The Save Your Rights Coalition is pressing on with its lawsuit against the city of La Crosse. The group filed a federal lawsuit last October seeking to overturn the city's ban on conversion therapy. Shaquille Davis has the latest on the legal fight from the U.S. District Court.
I learned that I have the right to my opinion. I can say my opinion even if you don't like it, and that's okay.
Joy Buckman is a licensed mental health professional and the key plaintiff in the lawsuit challenging the city's ban on conversion therapy. The ban, passed by the La Crosse City Council in September of last year, prohibits children from receiving counseling aimed at changing same-sex attraction and gender confusion. Attorney Luke Berg believes the ban is a human rights violation.
This is a pretty straightforward First Amendment violation. This is a restriction on what counselors can say to their clients, and it prohibits one particular viewpoint.
He says he also wants to clear up what he deems to be a misconception on conversion therapy.
It's this idea that this is counselors forcing their viewpoints on young people and trying to make them forcibly not be gay or something. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about voluntary, client-driven counseling.
The Seven Rivers LGBTQ+ Center worked with the city council to help put the ban in place.
Conversion therapy is abuse and should not be allowed to take place. It is, a dangerous road for people to go down.
She's not the only one who agrees.
Almost all of the medical and psychology organizations throughout the country and world have renounced conversion therapy, basically stating that it is dangerous and can be, really awful, especially for minors.
An attorney for the city declined to comment on their next steps in the case, but Alicia knows what she'd like to see.
It'd be great for the courts to dismiss the lawsuit and follow suit with the other municipalities throughout the country.
In Alaska, Shaquille Davis, News 8 Now.
26 states, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico have banned the practice of conversion therapy. The American Psychiatric Association also condemns it. The organization says it's connected to a greater risk of depression, anxiety, and self-destructive behavior. Wisconsin Senate Republicans have made new tweaks to the plan to fund upgrades to the home of the Milwaukee Brewers. Senator Dan Fyen's latest amendment would add a $2 surcharge on non-Brewers events at American Family Field. That change means the state's funding contribution is a bit lower, but still sits around $400 million. The Brewers will also contribute $100 million and would extend their lease at the field till 2050. Life-saving Narcan doses are coming to Crawford County. The sheriff's office received more than 2,300 doses of the opioid overdose reversal drug. Those are valued at more than $52,000, but the county paid nothing thanks to a state grant program. Narcan, of course, can reverse opioid overdoses and prevent deaths. The opioid crisis rages on. Officials hope this supply will help protect our community. The Valley Stewardship Network hosted its monthly series Conservation on Tap at the historic Fortney in Viroqua. The topic was geology and groundwater in Wisconsin's driftless area. It was presented by Dr. Ken Bradbury, who highlighted the basic geology of the region, as well as water quality issues and ongoing research projects. The goal of the conservation series is to connect the public with current conservation efforts and ultimately get them involved.
It's important for us to be abreast of what the current issues are that affect our area for conservation, so that we can urge our lawmakers to make good decisions and stay involved in conservation efforts.
The Conservation on Tap series is free to the public and is offered the first Tuesday of every month. We'll have more information on how you can attend on our digital platforms. A Vietnam veteran says writing has helped him heal from wartime experiences. Doug Bradley shared his stories at the Onalaska Public Library at an event called Writing Their Way Home, Veteran Stories and Survival. He focused on war veterans and the stigmas that come with talking about their traumas once they return home. Bradley said a veterans writing group helped him reconnect and face his own traumas. His goal is to help other vets find a way to express themselves and for the community to have open ears and hearts.
Need to understand, why do we go and do what we do on behalf of our nation? And what about doing that is difficult then to come back and sort of get your life back together and be whole again.
Bradley has authored 3 books based on his time in Vietnam. He's also a Badger Talk speaker and member of the magazine Deadly Writers Patrol. Now here's Derek to tell us what to expect for our morning commute.
All right, thanks for that, Alexandra. Still looking at some mainly cloudy weather conditions all across the Coulee region right now, and this trend is expected to continue here for the rest of the day today, and maybe a light chance of a shower or drizzle is possible. Temperatures are currently sitting into the 40s for the most part. 44 in La Crosse. Winona, you're at 41. Same in Black River Falls and Sparta, and we're also looking at that too in Viroqua. Now, if you're in Eau Claire, we're currently sitting at 39, so a little cooler the further north you are in the Chippewa Valley. High temperatures today, 51 degrees, cloudy skies, a little bit of a light chance of a drizzle or a shower here for today. The east winds switching to the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour, but tonight those breezes will pick up out of the west-northwest between 10 to 15 miles an hour, and occasional gusts up to 20 miles an hour is possible. That will feel like temperatures into the 20s because our low temperature will be at 36 for the ambient temperature there, and partly cloudy weather conditions to go along with the rest of those weather conditions we're expecting tonight as well. So stay tuned. I'll have a final check on your full weather forecast. We'll talk more details about the moisture and, of course, the winds here coming up over the next couple of days. And coming up in our Buzz Reports, People Magazine has released their sexiest man of the year. We'll tell you who it is and why they chose them after the break. Well, off to yet another cloudy start once again this morning from City Cam 8 in downtown La Crosse. Current temperatures are sitting at 44 degrees in La Crosse, but at least the winds are looking calm, so no need to worry about wind chill concerns there. 5.24 feet is our current river stage along the Mississippi, and it is currently rising as well. 39 degrees, cloudy skies to the north as well in Eau Claire. East winds currently sustained at around 10 miles an hour, so it may feel a little on the chilly side here thanks to those current winds. Looking at mainly cloudy weather conditions all across the Coulee region now. Had a bit of some light showers that pulled through portions of the eastern zones here overnight, and a little bit of some light drizzle focused mainly up towards the north potentially in the Chippewa Valley, but a lot of that probably not even making it to the surface because it's so light. 48 degrees, cloudy skies at noon, 49 degrees and still cloudy by 4 o'clock. I'm watching for a chance of showers as we head into early this evening. Look at the forecast high numbers today, mainly into the mid to upper 40s in the Chippewa Valley, but closer towards the upper 40s to even the low 50s. In fact, in La Crosse, I'm expecting highs around 51. So the further south you are, the warmer you'll be here as a result here this afternoon. So a little bit of some light showers possible, maybe a little bit of a drizzle also possible here throughout the morning. As you can see, by 9 o'clock, still very cloudy with a slight chance of a shower or two. Some drizzle, maybe a bit of a shower up towards the Chippewa Valley as well as we head into the 3 o'clock hour here today. Otherwise, just expect the mainly cloudy skies to really just continue. Unfortunately, another gloomy day here in store. A little bit of a light shower drizzle here lasting into this evening and pushing its way south across the rest of the Coulee region before completely clearing out with the moisture in terms of the shower and also the cloudy sky coverage there, because by 1 a.m. tonight we're looking at mainly clear skies followed by completely clear conditions just in time for your morning commute tomorrow. But I think you may need the heater on because it will feel cold as temperatures drop into those low to mid 30s, warming back up into the 40s and 50s though for tomorrow afternoon. Looking at some cloudy skies here up towards the Chippewa Valley and maybe even a little bit of some snowy weather across portions of the northern Chippewa as we head into tomorrow evening around 6 o'clock. Those cloudy skies from the leftover moisture from the north slide south here as we head into tomorrow night thanks to a front. Now the winds are also going to start to pick up here as well. Heading into tonight, we expect the winds to pick up out of the west-northwest at 10 to 15, gust up to 20 miles an hour possible, and then increasing out of the west between 15 to 20 miles an hour, gusting up to 30 miles an hour for tomorrow afternoon before finally subsiding by tomorrow evening. So here's a check on your 8-day forecast. Highs again into the 50s through tomorrow. Much cooler though for Friday with a high of about 44. Highs in the 40s last us through Saturday before warming back up into the 50s by Sunday and continuing into much of next week.
In our morning Buzz report, the sexiest man alive has been announced. And before you ask, no, it's not Travis Kelce. People magazine has named actor Patrick Dempsey this year's sexiest man alive. The title recognizes physical attractiveness, but also takes personality, accomplishments, and public impact into account. Dempsey is best known for his role on the medical drama Grey's Anatomy. Fans of the show have long referred to him as McDreamy due to his charm and good looks.
She's entangled our light-based powers, so we switch places whenever we use them.
Strong theory.
That was a look at the latest offering from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Marvels stars Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, a member of the Avengers who possesses superhuman strength, flight, and the ability to manipulate energy. The Marvels also stars Samuel L. Jackson and is directed by Nia DaCosta. It'll hit theaters this Friday.
People get kidnapped. People get taken against their will. That is not that uncommon.
You could see footage of two people on a mattress in a room that had no windows or doors.
Speaking of heroes, the new investigation discovery show Feds takes a closer look at how the FBI helps protect U.S. citizens. The new show takes viewers inside some of the biggest investigations in FBI history, including investigations that helped thwart tragedies from happening. Feds premieres today on Discovery ID. So in the last hour I said I was excited that Captain Marvel was a woman, but turns out she's always been a woman.
Yeah, we just found that out from our control room folks that are dedicated to Marvel.
Yeah, they know the MCU a little bit better than us. Clearly we need to brush up on our knowledge.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And when it comes to movies, I'm just like, okay, I gotta brush up on all that stuff.
There's so much to keep up with.
I know, there's so many good movies out there now.
And shows too, it's just really impossible to stay up with it. But now we know that. And before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
We have one birthday today, and it's to Noah, who is turning 8 years old. He's outgoing, enjoys playing sports, and loves his family. Happy birthday, Noah.
Happy birthday to him. And if you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
That's right. Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and hit the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website.
Stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next. Testimony from the forensic pathologist who did Mark Phillips' autopsy took center stage during day 2 of the reckless homicide trial against his wife. He told the court Phillips had injuries, including blunt force trauma on his left side, consistent with being hit by a vehicle. He said while the injuries align with Phillips being hit by a truck, he can't confirm that was the exact cause. Lori Phillips is accused of recklessly killing her husband with her truck back in 2019.
That's the caveat that it's not specific for that, but it is something that could be consistent with a crushing type of injury.
The trial continues into its 3rd day later this morning. Residents in the Spring Grove School District have voted to approve one of the district's referendums. According to the Spring Grove Schools Facebook page, voters passed the $12 million referendum focused on facility upgrades. That includes updating the school's 95-year-old heating and ventilation systems. The second referendum question failed. If it had been approved, $4 million would have gone toward building a new career and technical education lab. The Republican-controlled Assembly passed a bill banning UW officials from considering race in awarding financial aid. Governor Tony Evers is expected to veto that measure. Lawmakers also sent the governor a bill withholding state grants from schools that repeatedly violate free speech. He's likely to veto that one, too. The Republican-controlled Senate, meanwhile, passed 3 new constitutional amendments on voting rules. One would ban private funding for elections. Another would put voter ID photo requirements in the state constitution. And a third would limit voting rights to only U.S. citizens. Republicans are turning to constitutional changes to avoid a veto from the governor. The amendments still need approval in a second legislative session. Then voters would ultimately decide their fate in a statewide referendum. All Senate Democrats voted against those 3 constitutional amendments. Democratic Senator Jeff Smith believes his Voter Protection Act is a better answer to making sure Wisconsinites can exercise their right to vote. In a statement, the senator says, quote, Republicans continually refuse to engage in a productive conversation on how to help voters exercise their constitutional right. He says his Voter Protection Act includes voter-friendly proposals like universal voter registration. Life-saving Narcan doses are coming to Crawford County. The sheriff's office received more than 2,300 doses of the opioid overdose reversal drug. Those are valued at more than $52,000, but the county paid nothing thanks to a state grant program. Narcan can reverse opioid overdoses and prevent deaths. As the opioid crisis rages on, officials hope this supply will help protect our community. The Valley Stewardship Network hosted its monthly series Conservation on Tap at the historic Fort Lee in Viroqua. The topic was geology and groundwater in Wisconsin's driftless area. It was presented by Dr. Ken Bradbury, who highlighted the basic geology of the region, as well as water quality issues and ongoing research projects. The goal of the conservation series is to connect the public with current conservation efforts and ultimately get them involved.
It's important for us to be abreast of what the current issues are that affect our area for conservation, so that we can urge our lawmakers to make good decisions and stay involved in conservation efforts.
The Conservation on Tap series is free to the public and offered the first Tuesday of every month. We'll have more information on how to attend on our digital platforms. Happening today, the La Crosse Annual New Music Festival kicks off tonight at UWL. The three-day event will feature 3 different concerts and other events, including a master class on piano with composer Arturo Rodriguez. The free concert will start at 7:30 and will be held at UWL's Annette Recital Hall, located in the Lowe Center for the Arts.
And as you head out the door this morning, our temperatures are into the low 40s and are mainly cloudy skies. Slight chance of a shower or drizzle possible throughout the day. Highs warming up into the upper 40s and low 50s with a light north wind at 5 to 10 miles an hour with very low rain chances here throughout the day. Looking at breezy weather conditions tomorrow with a high of 51 and cool conditions on Friday as highs drop into the 40s. That will continue through Saturday too, with highs warming back up into the 50s starting Monday, even the mid to upper 50s heading into next week too. So, yeah, it's going to feel warmer after, a pretty cool next couple of days, and then we start to feel that warm up again.
And a gray day today, but happy to see some sunshine coming our way eventually.
Yeah, especially next week. We'll see a lot more sun than today, that's for sure.
Yes, good news there for sure. Thank you, Derek, and thank you for watching News 8 Now this morning. We will see you back here at noon. Have a great day.